I think Tassie.
I was going to say, if I had to have a guess, I think you'd say Tassie. Yeah.
Yeah, just because, the oceans down there are so wild. You're hanging off the bottom of the continent. There's awesome fishing, diving, great fall driving, incredible hikes. There's, places to kayak and to surf. And it's just a big adventure island in my eyes. And why wouldn't you be? And, they get snow. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, my mate and I drove over and I think it was tail end of winter. And we drove over and we camped down by some river for a couple of days, and it was bloody cold and we weren't ready for it. So we had to, go to a salvos and like try and layer up. Got down there, and then we're like, all right, let's go have a look up on this hill today. So we started meandering our way up this kind of S-bend road. And I was like, oh, a bit of cloud coming in. It must be rain coming in. So anyway, kept on driving up, and rain turned into like, almost like hail. And we're on the two ways going, oh, is that hail? Shit, it's hailing now. What the hell? Like, it's sunny down the bottom of the hill. What's going on? Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was like, mate, I think that's snow. And like, we both just ripped over the side of the road and jumped out, and we're like, oh my God, this is so sick. I never thought my car would see snow. And like, we're in WA like a week ago, and it just felt weird to go, WA to South Oz and just through all the deserts, and next minute you're driving up a hill going through snow. And we were so stoked that like the cops were turning people around, and we convinced them that we had accommodation up there, but we didn't.
Accommodation in the car.
In the car. Yeah.
So we got up there, and then we went to a servo just to like, we were asking about this campground just around the corner, and we asked the lady, and she's like, where are you boys staying? What are you doing up here? And we're like, oh, we're camping. She's like, what? Tonight? No, you're stupid. And we're like, no, we're going to camp. And she's like, you're crazy. You know what's coming in? And I was like, yeah, a bit of snow and cloud, hey? And she's like, oh, it's going to be bucketing down. She goes, I'm getting off this hill soon. I was like, all right. And she goes, but what I'll do, I'll leave the front door open for you of the servo. So if you do get too cold, you can come in and sleep on the floor. And so anyway, we were like, we're not going to get cold. And we drove down, and she goes, just push open the gate for the campsite. It's just dummy locked, like no one's there anyway. So we had this little campsite to ourselves. And then, we're trying to light a fire for the next 3 hours, trying to get wood before the snow got to it too much. And we're like, oh, this is useless. Pouring, my mate was pouring petrol on the fire, just trying to get any kind of spark, try and get warm. And anyway, just snowed and snowed and snowed. We finally went to bed. I had a rooftop tent, and he had the swag on the ground. I said to him, I was like, mate, it's probably going to get really bloody cold. Like, you're welcome to get up in the rooftop tent, because I'd rather you be alive tomorrow than, worry about you being near me while I sleep. And anyway, woke up in the morning, and I looked out the top of the tent. It was a really cold morning. Like, I had a Cedar Summit sleeping bag, and it was like rated to -7. I was freezing my ass off the whole night.
Wow.
And then I went downstairs, like climbed down, and couldn't even see my mate's swag. So there was this much snow on my bonnet. Right, and I was like, oh my God. And I'm sitting out the front going, oh, look at all this snow. This is so sick. And then I was like, shit, where's Windsor? And I'm like looking around, and then I could see this mound that was covering his swag. I'm like, Windsor. And it was just silent. I'm like, Windsor. Silent. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, all right. So I'm like scraping away the snow and like rattling his thing, and then the zips were frozen together. And so I had to pour water on the zips to open up the zip. And he's in there like this. I'm like, bro, are you all right? Yeah, talk to me. Anyway, he was like, that was the worst night of my life. Like, that was the worst night of my life. And he's like, I'm never doing that again. I was like, yeah, all right. Got him out of there. I'm like, what sleeping bag have you got? I had a look. It was rated to +4 degrees. I'm like, mate. And so he's in every layer possible. And
oh my goodness.
and like just didn't. He said he didn't get a wink of sleep the whole night. Anyway, we got off the hill, and before we got off the hill, we had a look at our phones to check the temperature, and I think it was -6.
Oh.
But with it feels like we're on the top of the it's like the Arthur's Pass or Arthur's Lakes or something in Tassie.
Yeah.
And with them feels like -16 because of the wind chill and the amount of snow and everything.
Yeah.
And he's in a +4 sleeping bag.
That's why you're cold, mate.
Wow.
Even if you have like, even in like the limited
Oh my
like
goodness.
snow camping that I've done, it's literally been once. Like I don't even know what my sleeping bag's rated to, but I think it's either 0 or below. And like we're in like a wooden hut in Kosciuszko, and it was still like freezing cold. So imagine him, like it's basically doesn't even do anything.
He had 3 pairs of pants on, 2 pairs of socks, shoes. I think he had like 3 t-shirts, a jumper, and a jacket and a beanie, and he was just shaking like a leaf. Hey, it was. He was like, I'm never doing that again. Somehow, told him like how cool it was, and like how cool is this experience. And by 5 p.m. that day, I convinced him to do it again at a different spot.
And he was in the swag.
Yeah, did you stay in the swag or the rooftop?
Yeah.
Oh
No
my
way.
gosh. He's a maniac.
Yeah, so I don't know. He was like, "Oh no, you're right. It is pretty cool up here." Like, and we got the drones out and took photos of the snow in the morning, and you can't even see the cars. All you can see are just footprints walking through this kind of snow wonderland. So